What if the hardest part of becoming wealthy is not earning $1 million, but becoming the kind of person capable of keeping and growing it? Most people think the first million is created by luck, a perfect business idea, or a massive salary. They imagine that wealthy people simply discovered an opportunity that everyone else missed. But when you study self-made millionaires, a different pattern appears. The first million is rarely built through one dramatic event. It is built through discipline, patience, and a set of rules followed consistently for many years. In fact, many wealthy people say something surprising. The first million is the hardest. Not because money becomes easier to earn afterward, but because the habits, systems, and mindset required to reach that milestone eventually begin working for you instead of against you. Imagine waking up knowing that your money is growing even while you sleep, that your expenses no longer control your future, and that every year your financial position becomes stronger rather than more stressful. This journey is not about fantasies of overnight wealth. It is about the real rules that quietly create extraordinary financial results. Stay with me until the very end, because the most important rule is not how to make $1 million. It is how to make wealth almost inevitable. Welcome to the first million rule. The first rule is simple, but most people ignore it. Income matters, but the gap matters more. Two people can earn the same amount of money and end up with completely different futures. One spends almost everything they earn. The other consistently creates a gap between income and expenses. That gap is where wealth is born. Every dollar that remains after spending has the potential to become an asset, an investment, a business opportunity, or a future source of freedom. If there is no gap, there is no engine for wealth creation. Think of wealth as a river. Your income is the water flowing in. Your spending is the water flowing out. Most people focus only on increasing the inflow while ignoring the leaks. A bigger salary helps, but if spending expands just as quickly, the river never grows. The first million is not built by impressing other people with a larger lifestyle. It is built by quietly increasing the distance between what you earn and what you need. The second rule is pay yourself before you pay your lifestyle. Most people save whatever is left at the end of the month. Wealthy people reverse the order. The moment income arrives, a portion is automatically moved toward investments and future goals. This is not about being cheap. It is about making your future a priority instead of an afterthought. Even small amounts matter because the habit is more important than the starting number. The third rule is the rule that changes everything. Own assets, not just income. A salary can make you comfortable. Assets can make you free. Stocks, businesses, real estate, intellectual property, and other productive assets continue working when you are not working. The first million usually arrives when money begins generating more money consistently. At first, your labor does most of the work. Later, your assets begin sharing the load. Eventually, if you remain patient long enough, your assets can become more powerful than your paycheck. This leads to the fourth rule. Compounding rewards patience, not excitement. Most people dramatically underestimate what consistent investing can do over long periods. In the beginning, progress feels slow. The account grows mostly because of your contributions. Then, something remarkable happens. Growth begins generating additional growth. The curve starts bending upward. The early years test your patience. The later years reward it. Imagine pushing a heavy flywheel. The first few pushes barely move it. It feels frustrating. But each push adds momentum. Eventually, the wheel begins turning faster and faster, and the effort required to keep it moving decreases. Wealth behaves the same way. The first 1,000 is hard. The first 10,000 is harder than most people expect. The first 100,000 often feels impossible. But once compounding gains momentum, the process becomes dramatically more powerful. The fifth rule is avoid the wealth killers. High-interest consumer debt, chronic lifestyle inflation, impulse spending, and the need to impress others destroy more wealth than bad investments. A person earning a high income but constantly upgrading their lifestyle may remain financially trapped for decades. A person earning less but consistently investing the difference may quietly become wealthy. The market can recover from many mistakes. A habit of overspending is much harder to overcome. Another critical rule is invest in your earning power. The first million is often accelerated not by finding a magical investment, but by becoming more valuable. Skills in communication, sales, technology, leadership, problem-solving, and business can increase income for decades. Knowledge compounds just like money. A useful skill can produce returns year after year, long after the course fee or learning effort has been forgotten. As we begin this journey through the first million rule, remember one powerful truth. The first million is not primarily a financial milestone. It is a behavioral milestone. It is the result of thousands of decisions made when nobody was watching. Every dollar invested, every unnecessary expense avoided, every skill improved, every risk managed wisely, and every year of patience becomes another brick in the foundation of lasting wealth. Because in the end, the people who reach financial freedom are rarely those who discover a secret that nobody else knows. They are the people who follow a few timeless rules so consistently that time eventually turns ordinary decisions into extraordinary results. Another rule that separates those who eventually reach their first million from those who spend decades chasing it is understanding the difference between being rich and being wealthy. Rich is often what people see. Wealthy is what they do not see. Rich is the luxury car parked in the driveway. Wealth is the investment account quietly growing in the background. Rich is spending money to create an image. Wealth is owning assets that create future income. Many people sacrifice wealth to look rich. Millionaires who build lasting financial freedom usually do the opposite. They are often far less interested in appearing successful than they are in becoming financially secure. One of the most powerful lessons in the first million rule is that every dollar has a job. Most people treat money casually. It arrives, gets spent, and disappears. Wealth builders assign every dollar a purpose. Some dollars pay for necessities. Some create experiences. Some build security. Some buy assets. The moment money receives intentional direction, it becomes a tool instead of a temptation. Another critical rule is learning to think like an investor rather than a consumer. Consumers ask, "How much does this cost?" Investors ask, "What will this produce?" This shift changes everything. The consumer sees money as something to spend. An investor sees money as something to deploy. Every dollar becomes a potential employee. Instead of asking how quickly it can be spent, the investor asks how hard it can work. Imagine hiring 1,000 employees who never sleep, never complain, and never ask for a vacation. That is essentially what invested money becomes. Each dollar invested properly can continue generating value year after year. The wealthy understand that their money should be working just as hard as they are. Over time, this creates an extraordinary advantage because labor has limits, but assets can continue growing indefinitely. Another rule is understanding that mistakes are inevitable. Every successful investor, entrepreneur, and millionaire has made financial mistakes. They bought things they should not have bought. They missed opportunities. They made poor investments. They trusted the wrong people. The difference is not that wealthy people avoid all mistakes. The difference is that they learn from mistakes without allowing those mistakes to define their future. Many people make one financial error and become afraid to invest again. Others experience a market decline and convince themselves that investing does not work. Wealth builders take a different approach. They treat mistakes as tuition. They learn the lesson, improve their process, and continue moving forward. They understand that avoiding every mistake is impossible, but repeating the same mistake forever is optional. Another often overlooked rule is the importance of consistency during boring periods. Everyone feels motivated during exciting times. It is easy to invest when markets are rising and optimism is everywhere. The real test comes during ordinary months and difficult years. The first million is often built during these quiet periods when nobody is paying attention. Wealth grows because contributions continue, even when progress feels slow. This is why discipline usually beats intelligence in personal finance. An average strategy followed consistently often outperforms a brilliant strategy followed inconsistently. The market rewards patience more than excitement. It rewards persistence more than prediction. The people who win are often not the smartest in the room. They are the ones who remain committed long enough for compounding to do its work. Another important rule is protecting what you build. As wealth grows, preserving capital becomes increasingly important. Many people become overconfident after experiencing success. They take unnecessary risks because they begin believing they cannot fail. History is filled with examples of fortunes built over decades and destroyed in a few reckless decisions. Wealth builders understand that protecting wealth is just as important as creating it. There is also a powerful connection between freedom and simplicity. Many people assume that becoming wealthy means creating a more complicated life. In reality, many financially successful people become increasingly focused on simplicity. They avoid unnecessary debt. They reduce financial clutter. They invest in things they understand. They focus on long-term principles rather than chasing every new opportunity. Simplicity creates clarity, and clarity improves decision-making. Perhaps the most important rule of all is realizing that the first million is not really about money. The money is simply evidence of something deeper. It is evidence of discipline practiced for years. Evidence of patience when immediate gratification was available. Evidence of learning, adapting, and growing. Evidence of becoming a person capable of managing resources responsibly. The first million is valuable not because of the number itself, but because of the person you must become to reach it. You must learn to think differently about spending. You must learn to value the future as much as the present. You must learn to control emotions when others are acting out of fear or greed. You must learn to trust a process that often feels slow in the beginning and powerful only much later. As we continue through the first million rule, remember that wealth is not created in one extraordinary moment. It is created in thousands of ordinary moments. Every investment made instead of spent. Every skill learned instead of ignored. Every patient decision made instead of an impulsive one. Every year, you stay committed when others quit. These moments may seem small when viewed individually, but together they create something remarkable. And one day, when people see the results, they may assume it happened because of luck, timing, or some secret opportunity. They will see the destination but not the journey. They will see the million but not the habits, the discipline, the patience, and the countless decisions that made it possible. But you will know the truth. The first million was never built in a single year. It was built one decision at a time until those decisions became a life, and that life became wealth. There is another rule that quietly separates future millionaires from almost everyone else. They stop trading time for money alone and start building leverage. Time is limited. No matter how talented, hardworking, or ambitious you are, there are only 24 hours in a day. If your income depends entirely on the hours you personally work, your earning potential will always have a ceiling. Wealth grows faster when your efforts continue producing value even after the work is done. A business can keep selling. A book can keep earning. A course can keep teaching. Investments can keep growing. The wealthy become obsessed with creating systems that outlive the effort that created them. Imagine two builders constructing houses. The first carries every brick by hand day after day. The second spends time building a machine that can lift hundreds of bricks automatically. At first, the first builder appears to be making faster progress because the second is spending time on the machine instead of the house. But eventually, the machine changes everything. Wealth works the same way. The early years spent learning skills, building systems, and creating assets may feel slower, but they often produce far greater results later. Another crucial rule is understanding the difference between active income and passive income. Active income requires your continuous presence. Passive income is money that continues flowing with little ongoing effort. The first million is usually built with active income, but it is accelerated by converting part of that income into passive income-producing assets. This is the bridge from working for money to having money work for you. One of the most dangerous beliefs in personal finance is, "I'll invest when I have more money." The amount is rarely the real issue. The habit is. A person who cannot consistently invest a small amount is unlikely to suddenly become disciplined with a large amount. Wealth is not created by waiting for the perfect income. It is created by developing the behavior of investing regardless of the income level. Think of a pilot learning to fly. They do not begin with a massive passenger aircraft. They begin with small flights, simple controls, and consistent practice. Investing is similar. The goal is not to become an expert overnight. The goal is to become a consistent participant in the process of long-term wealth creation. Another rule that becomes increasingly important is protect your attention. The world is full of financial noise. Every day, someone claims to know the next hot stock, the next market crash, the next crypto boom, or the next economic disaster. Constantly reacting to headlines is one of the fastest ways to destroy long-term returns. Wealth builders focus on timeless principles rather than endless predictions. They understand that markets will rise, fall, panic, recover, and continue moving through cycles long after today's headlines are forgotten. There is also a hidden emotional challenge on the path to the first million: delayed recognition. In the beginning, nobody notices your discipline. No one congratulates you for investing instead of spending. Friends may not understand why you drive a reliable car instead of an expensive one, why you avoid unnecessary debt, or why you keep contributing to investments during market declines. The rewards come much later. This is why building wealth requires a strong internal compass. If you need immediate applause for every good decision, long-term investing will feel incredibly difficult. Another powerful rule is increase your standards, not just your lifestyle. As income grows, many people upgrade their spending. Wealth builders upgrade their systems. They improve their savings rate, investment contributions, skills, health, network, and decision-making. Lifestyle may improve too, but it does not consume all the progress. The goal is not to remain poor forever. The goal is to ensure that every increase in income creates a stronger future, not just a more expensive present. One of the greatest advantages of wealth is not luxury. It is optionality. The ability to leave a toxic job. The ability to take time off. The ability to help family members. The ability to start a business without panic. The ability to make decisions based on values instead of desperation. Money cannot solve every problem, but it can remove many problems that have nothing to do with happiness and everything to do with stress. As the journey continues, you may realize that the first million is less about reaching a number and more about crossing a psychological threshold. Before that threshold, you are pushing the snowball uphill. After it, the snowball begins helping push itself. Investments generate returns. Returns generate larger returns. Opportunities become easier to recognize because you have capital available. Financial pressure decreases and clearer thinking becomes possible. But perhaps the most important lesson of the first million rule is this: wealth is a byproduct of becoming valuable, disciplined, patient, and intentional. The money is the visible result. The invisible causes are far more important. $1 million can be lost. The habits that built it can build it again. So, if you are at the beginning of the journey, do not underestimate the power of small actions. The first investment matters. The first budget matters. The first skill learned matters. The first debt paid off matters. The first year of consistency matters. These are not tiny steps. They are the foundation of a completely different future. And one day, when the numbers finally begin to look extraordinary, you may discover that the greatest reward was never the million itself. The greatest reward was becoming someone who thinks long-term, acts with discipline, stays calm during uncertainty, and builds freedom one decision at a time. Because in the end, the first million is not a financial miracle. It is the visible proof that ordinary choices, repeated consistently for many years, can create an extraordinary life.